carts there all lined up. Of them in terms of pace yesterday, Shanaka Clay the quickest of this group, second quickest overall, behind Josh Price, 55.7 for him. And Senda Sakaguchi, his best time yesterday, 55.8 in qualifying. It's Shanaka Clay who's had the better of the races so far out of those two. So that's the full grid for race 18, qualifying heat number 6. Group B, as you look at it on screen to the left of your picture, the Group D qualifiers are on the right-hand side of the screen. So it's exactly 16:40, right on cue. They release the carts onto the circuit. Well, we've got a moment or two. Well worth reminding you that around the world, and if you're here, that as it's allegedly spring, Ken, I'm not sure it really is spring, but apparently it's spring, the clocks change tonight. So the clocks move forward 1 hour. So if you like at, I think you usually do it at 1 o'clock in the morning, don't they? 1 o'clock in the morning, it will suddenly become 2 o'clock in the morning, which is to say, move your watches before you go to sleep, move your alarm clocks forward an hour if you're here this weekend. Otherwise, you might be an hour later than you think. And please do bear that in mind if you're watching on RGMMC TV as well, that we are going to suddenly gain an hour tomorrow. We'll tell you about the timetable a little bit later on for tomorrow's pre-finals and round 1 finals. Okay, so on the first warm-up lap here, Shanaka Clay. Let's see what he can do here. Senda Sakaguchi and Yuri Vips, Thomas Issa, and not really an obvious winner in this one. The only one I would say that stands out as somebody that I think will progress if he has a good first corner or two will be Lando Norris, given what he's done so far. But of this race, this is possibly one of the most open here. There's no sort of obvious winner of this one, I don't think, Ken, and anybody really in that top 10 capable of winning this, I think.
Yeah, I think it's perhaps one of those where instead of just saying these are going to be our front runners, we're going to be saying let's just see how it unfolds and who gets there. I certainly run with you in terms of expecting big things of Lando Norris. He certainly has made his mark in international karting. His first ever junior Rotax race, I think he came second, was it? And that was in one step up from Minimax. The previous weekend he'd raced Minimax, came into Rotax Junior last year and immediately made his mark.
Okay, so the front row drivers just starting to bunch up the field now. To remind you, it's 7-lap race this if you're watching from around the world here online. And then we'll have, for the rest of the day, 10-lap races with the seniors and the DD2. So 7 laps, not long on the speed they're lapping at as well under a minute mark. So only, 6.5 minutes really of combat, which means if you're further down the order, it's not that long to get through the pack, is it? So anybody that had a bad qualifying, yes, you can overtake in kart racing and at this circuit, but it's not like a massively long 10, 12 lap race for the juniors in which to make the progress. So I suppose you could argue that qualifying even more important in juniors than it is for some of the other classes. You see everybody's heads jolting forwards, can't you, as they get little taps from behind, like, hurry up, don't leave a gap. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to close all the gaps up in between themselves. You don't want to get a slow start because somebody in front of you is not close enough to the row ahead. Looks good, though. Red lights. No, it's going to be a full start. They get sent round again. The usual signal from the start line, waving the forefinger round and round, as in, do one more lap. We're not happy with that. From here, I didn't see anything obviously wrong, other than perhaps they were just a bit keen out of the last corner, perhaps a bit too fast, wasn't it, for a start. So they'll go round again, the 34 karts, with Shanaka Clay leading them through on this 7-lap race, which is due to get underway. Shanaka, as I say, down as a UK, that might be the UK licence, but from Sri Lanka. Then you've got Senda Sakaguchi all the way from Japan. We've got in this junior field here today, we've mentioned Thomas Issa from Jamaica, from all across Europe, fair few from Holland in the juniors as well. Holland always having had a strong representation in international kart racing.
Gavin Reichelt and Mike McCarthy from the USA, Darren Keane from the USA, no shortage of non-Europeans, Mitchell Chimanji from Southeast Asia in Malaysia, as international as you could wish for, Chris.
Good to see Dutch drivers coming through a bit higher up through car racing as well. Gerardo van der Garde coming into Formula 1 there, first Dutch driver in F1 for 5 or 6 years, I think it is. So very strong as ever. In terms of numbers, you know, the Belgians, probably the British drivers and the Dutch make up a fair old portion of the grid. And certainly there are going to be some Dutch drivers in the mix here tomorrow when we move towards the pre-finals and finals here at round 1 at Genk. So this time, are we going to get underway? A full start last time around. The middle of the pack is where we seem to have seen most of the turn 1 incidents, but up front people have generally been behaving there. As you look at them, the left hand side of your picture is Shanika Clay. The right, the orange and black colours, is Senna Sakaguchi. Yellow helmet for Juri Vips. Green suit, red and white helmet for Thomas Issa from 4th on the grid. Blue card of Nick Dunker and Ralph are on to watch from the 3rd row as well. This time looks good, and this time it is a start. The race gets underway, and it's a perfect start so far for Shanika Clay. Good on the brakes, but a little bit wide through the turn. Somebody spins just behind. Shanika Clay runs wide and goes from 1st to 2nd to 3rd to 4th and drops way back down the order. And therefore, it's one of the Strawberry Racing drivers that's gone through. Juri Vips, yeah, I think so. Juri Vips through into the lead of the race. Shanika Clay down to something like 5th position here. And is that Ralph Aron quite possibly up to 2nd place looking at the colour scheme there? It's either Ralph or Nick Dunker up to 2nd position, having a very good start to the race from the 3rd row of the grid. Fighting back already is Shanika Clay, picking up a place there on the way out of that previous corner. They exit now that left-hand hairpin and come down towards the braking zone on this first of 7 laps. No real dramas through the order in terms of everybody still going. It was Nick Dunker that's got through to 2nd place. A similar colour scheme to Ralph Aron, but he's made a very good start, Nick Dunker. And they're in 2nd position. And they're at the end of the 3rd lap going through just behind them. Lando Norris has also made a good start and closes up under braking. A change for 4th just behind though, because Clay gets back ahead of Shanaguchi. So good move under brakes into turn 1 to go from 5th to 4th. Senna Sakaguchi is demoted to 5th, and Shanika Clay gets back up to 4th place. A couple of tangled on the exit to turn 1 and just about get going now. Somebody thumping the steering wheel in frustration there as he gets going, but a long, long way down the field. Might have been Mark Moore, the Estonian, I think.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to understand just what Shanika Clay did there. I wonder if he caught himself in 2 minds, Chris, and he never quite defended and he never quite attacked. And he definitely caught it. He didn't quite hang himself out to dry, but he was caught a little bit in no man's land, and it wasn't too difficult for Juri Vips and for Dunker to just drive through and, of course, give Lando Norris half an opportunity, and he will take it. They're the 1, 2, 3 as we set off on lap 3, but Shanika Clay repairing the damage up to 4th place in front of Senna Sakaguchi 5th.
Yellow flags waving at the final turn because Jonathan Segelson has just had a spin, the Swedish driver. There are the leaders then coming into shot at turn 5. Juri Vips leading the way by half a second from Lando Norris, who's come up from the 4th row of the grid, from 7th position up to 2nd on that first lap of the race. Nick Dunker 3rd and then Clay 4th.
Not sure why Ralph Aron is in 17th place. I thought I heard you call his name in commentary as a front runner. I didn't really see him as such, but certainly he's had an issue, having started on the 3rd row, went through at the end of lap 2 in 17th. Ralph Aron got some repair to do.
Yeah, a bit of bumping and boring through the first couple of corners.
Gosh, Malaysian driver Mitch Chimenji posts the fastest lap. Well done to Malaysia.
And look at the leaders coming towards turn 1. A challenge here from Lando Norris down the inside. And he does it. Bang. He's so good on the brakes into that corner. It's also to do with how quickly he comes on to the start-finish straight. But Lando Norris has pulled off several good moves there today. And that one gets him the lead of the race. So Lando Norris then ahead of Juri Vips for the first time in this race. 1st and 2nd running onto the back straight there, as you can see from the TV pictures. And then coming towards us now in 3rd place, the blue and white card of Nick Dunker. And 4th just behind him is Shanika Clay, who started this race from pole position. And actually got a really good start off the line, but midway through and then on the exit to turn 1 went wide and got forced offline and dropped down to, I think, 6th place at one point, but back to 4th now and starting to put the pressure on Nick Dunker here, Ken.
Yeah, Nick Dunker's going particularly well, but he's going to feel a little bit of defensive work is called for here because Shanaka Clay has got the bit between his teeth a little bit, to use an equine expression rather than motor expression. There goes the challenge. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Shanaka Clay, having had that disappointment at that very spot on the circuit on the opening lap, executes a copybook passing manoeuvre at the start of lap 5, and that puts him now into a comfortable third place because he's pulled away a fair bit from Nick Dunker. But Lando Norris, don't want to put the commentator's curse in, but this is lap 5 of a 7-lap junior race, and you would feel that the diminutive little Englishman is pulling away a little bit, probably making a seminal move in the race that I would doubt that we'll see him headed again if that's not kicking the commentator's curse in.
They're about to come past the stricken cart, and that stricken cart belongs to Mick McCarthy, number 56. Not that Mick McCarthy, if you're an English football fan or an Irish football fan, but Michael McCarthy from the USA. So he's out of the race. The marshal with his hand on his shoulder, just looking out for the driver because they're not far off the racing line there. Slightly precarious position. Norris leads by half a second now from Vips. Clay up to that third place, and Clay's 0.3 of a second quicker than the cart he's trying to catch. Here they come. Look at the third place cart right onto the tail now as he goes through that turn 5 right-hander and onto the back straight, running parallel with the main road there up towards this right-hand braking zone for turn 6, and he's right onto the tail now of Yuri Vips. Dunker is 4th. Thomas Issa is still in the mix in 5th place. Van Kathmol is up to 6th, and Pionka and Sakaguchi 7th and 8th. So Sakaguchi just dropping back a little bit now in this race. Nose to tail for second place, Ken.
Yeah, and just keep your eye on that second place and stop me if I still talking and something happens. But the girls are going well. Eline Shehan is in 12th place, the little Dutch lady, and Savannah Courtney from Spain, far her best performance of the day, in 15th place. Ralph Aaron still down in 16th though.
Change for 4th place. Good move from Thomas Issa down the inside at the start of the lap on Nick Dunker. That's at turn 1. And Thomas Issa, the Jamaican driver, you'll see him come through now. There he is through the camera in 4th place. So Thomas Issa with a lovely move there. We're keeping an eye on the top 3. Actually, the move came from a little bit further back. There are the top 3 closer than ever now with half a lap to go. Lando Norris is being reeled in as well. And I think it's because Yuri Vips is being spurred on by the driver that's trying to overtake him now through the hairpin. What a move up the inside. And Shanaka Clay gets second place with just 3 corners to go. And that's a good recovery
move by Shanaka Clay, but I think that hands victory to Lando Norris.
Probably does, doesn't it? Yeah, 1 corner to go. Here they are. Lando Norris is going to win this one. They were really catching him at the start of that lap, but a good drive from Lando Norris to take the checkered flag and a win. He's one to watch, isn't he? Shanaka Clay also a very good comeback there after the misdemeanor at lap 1. Through turn 1. Shanaka second place. Yuri Vips third. Good drive also. Thomas Issa, lovely move to get 4th place at the end. And Nick Dunker was the one who had to give way at the start of lap 7. Nick coming home in 5th place. In 6th position, we had Reinus van Kalfmuth, the Dutch Minimax champion, who's come into international competition this year and stepped up a notch or 2. In 7th place was the Marvin Pionka Cosmic Kart, the German driver. Senna Sakaguchi was 8th. Lars Lambro was 9th. Mitchell Chiminji was the other driver to come home in the top 10. Who set the fastest lap? Guess who set the fastest lap? Thomas Issa set the fastest lap. 56.575 seconds. So really good drive there. Growing in confidence is the young Jamaican. And he looks like he could be very well with one foot into the... probably into the qualifying results now for the pre-final, because he's had solid races all throughout. So there you go, Lando Norris the winner, Shanaka Clay second, Yuri Vips third, Thomas Issa 4th. There you can see the results on screen. Strawberry Racing going particularly well today. As ever, RL Racing Department, they're getting the win with Lando Norris. Nick Dunker and Reinus van Kalmthout 5th and 6th. The Dutch drivers in the top 6 once again. In fact, we had another Dutch driver in the top 10 with Lars Lamberel. Germany represented with Marvin Pionka there in 7th place. Japanese driver Senna Sakaguchi 8th. Decent drive. And Mitchell Chiminji, the Malaysian driver, in the top 10 as well. Ellen Cheyan, good drive for the French lady in 11th place. Denitz Beckers 12th. Nathan Hedwin Dominic Musiatovic, Darren Keane, Dries van Thur and Savannah Megan Courtney with the drivers rounding out the first half of the sheet. Savannah Megan Courtney there in 17th place is one of the drivers that we've got here from Spain. Not all that many drivers from Spain here at Genk, but she being one of them. Christopher Drayspring, Anton Astashenko and Ralph Aron rounding out the top 20. Disappointing run that for Ralph Aron, who, as I say, was a top driver last year, 14th in the championship. And the Estonian started on the third row of the grid here because he was pretty quick in qualifying yesterday. But Ralph had a bit of a nightmare first lap, and although he fought his way back somewhat, he still only ended up in 20th place. The rest of the results showing down. And Michael McCarthy, unfortunately for him, being the only retiree there, the American driver for KMS Hungary. Good stuff. Right, just hearing over the radio that Tiff Chittenden, quick as you like, has been grabbing drivers